holding us captive, even though it's not the best thing for us, that somehow we make friendships with this. Sometimes we make friendships with the very things that want to kill us, or the very things that want to destroy us. And so tonight, we're going to be challenging you guys. I'm going to be challenging you guys over the next few minutes, and we're going to be challenging you guys to rip off some of the things that have been holding you back, to destroy some of the things that have been trying to bring you down. This weekend, had a great weekend. Went out with some of the students. We had a chance to go to Gatlinburg, and as we were in Gatlinburg, there was a haunted house. Yeah, there was a haunted house. Anybody do haunted houses? Anything like that? Anybody like haunted houses? All right. Anybody just like to go just to be scared? I mean, that makes sense, right? You just like to be scared. I go to haunted houses sometimes. And, this was like just one of the Ripley's. It's kind of, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. It was about 6 of us or whatever, and I was like, you had to form a line, and you had to put your hand on everybody's shoulder, like that. And I was like, man, I'll lead this. No, I didn't do that at all. I didn't do that at all. I was like, listen, you get in front. That's exactly what happened. I was like, listen, get in front. And then, the good thing is that Julia was like in the back. And so she said, Pastor Josh, I don't want to be in the back. So I was like, yeah, I'll definitely bring up the back. I can do that. Hey, whatever you need, Julia. Because I love you, Julia. Because I want to be a good youth pastor to you. And so we're like walking around, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's been a while since I've been in a haunted house, and for whatever reason, I was a little, terminology that comes to my mind right off the bat, freaked out. You start off and you're like in this like coffin area, and you're just like, everybody's like this dude's talking to you, he's getting all weird, and he's got this whole thing, and then you start walking through these places, and all I kept saying, I was like, do not let there be a mouse in this room. As long as there's not a mouse, I think I'll be okay. But if there's some kind of mouse, man, I'm liable to run over somebody. But little did I know, I have a couple other fears in my life. We were walking, and there was this one point where this dude's in this prison cell thing, man, and we walked by. The guys in front couldn't see it. Only me and Julia could see it. He's in this prison cell, and he's like, rah! And like got strobe lights going and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's funny. And the prison cell opens, and he starts running after me. Hey, let me be honest with you guys. Poor Julia. There was several times where she said, Pastor Josh, your knees like hit the top of my back. And I was just like, trying to make sure that I wasn't going to hit anything that was on the floor, just kind of jump up. But I'm going to tell you guys, I had hops. I looked like LeBron James a couple of times when I was going up. I was getting up there like crazy. And this dude starts chasing me. I'm like, no, let's go, let's get out of here. And so we get out of there, and that's kind of cool. But then we go to this one spot. Well, I'll come to that just in a second. But we come to this place where you walk through, and everything's like on you. Like there's no room. Like anybody that's claustrophobic in this room would have died right then on the spot. Because like you're grabbing a person in front of you, and you got this stuff that's all up on you, and you're like, what in the world is going on? And he's just like walking through this room, kind of maze kind of thing, and just like, and you couldn't see because it's pitch black. I mean, it's dark. And then at the end, this dude, we're all right here. We're like all hanging on. And there's people in front of me and stuff, but this dude comes out of this door. This door like slams open. Chainsaw comes going. Just like is going. All right, the whole idea was get to the elevator. And only thing in my mind, the only thing I could think about at that moment was get to the elevator as fast as possible and take no prisoners. And I kept thinking, I was like, I'll give you Julia. If you, sorry, Janine. No, I'll give you whoever else was there. It's like, I'll give you Avery. I just don't take me. And so I took off. I'm going to tell you guys, when that chainsaw came out, I cannot believe that I'm even saying this because, I pride myself on being able to walk through these stuff, I'm like, oh, yeah. But I had nobody to impress, so you couldn't act hard or anything like that. You're just like, everything's out there. And so I take off running. And the only person the only people to like make it in there before me was the two that were ahead of us, like Alyssa and there's one other girl that made it to the elevator before me. I passed up everybody else, and it was like, ah! And I came into the elevator diving, and I'm in the elevator with tears of joy on my face, and I'm rolling around on the floor, and everybody else is just like, and I'm like, ah! Why did I do this? I was like, I don't like you, and you. Everybody that wanted to go to this stupid haunted house, I don't like you. I don't like you at all. But there was this one point where, you know, I started thinking about like this whole message and everything that we're going to be talking about, and everything we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks. There are some things in your life that maybe can cause you harm. But it's kind of like this. All right, I didn't like this haunted house, but I would probably go back again. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just scared me. But let's bring it to a whole nother level. There are some things in your life that want to grab a hold of you and that want to destroy you and will not take prisoners, that wants to take you out on this plan. You know, because God has such a plan for your life. Because the Bible says that, but for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. So God knows that there's this plan for your life, and the enemy knows that there's a plan for your life. And so there are things that the enemy tries to send your way to destroy you and to take you out. There are some things in this life that try to grip you, and I like to call them strongholds. You know, the Bible talks about strongholds. It talks about these things that kind of can grip a hold of you, that can kind of become like a chain in your life. A certain stronghold, a certain thing that can, maybe it's a sin that you consistently find yourself attracted to or continue doing or whatever. Maybe it's something in your life that you just can't live without, but you'll do whatever it takes to get that, and you'll see that. And so I believe that there's some things in our lives that become like strongholds for us. And so I want to challenge you guys tonight. I believe that for you guys, one of the things the enemy can, I feel like the limits are off of you completely, but the one thing that the enemy wants to do, he wants to snag you down and try to break you down with strongholds, with different things to try to knock you out. You know, I believe in our Christian walk Sometimes we get comfortable with just existing. Sometimes we get comfortable with just being who we are. And tonight, I want you to take off. I want you to take down the walls. Can we bring down the walls tonight? I want to challenge you guys to remove the walls. And tonight, to be really real before God. Tonight, hey, can we as Elevate not play church tonight? Are you with me? Can we as Elevate, hey, you know what? There's a whole bunch of Christians out there that don't like to deal with issues. And then when somebody comes up and starts talking about issues or dealing with a certain type of problems in our life, we don't like to hear about that stuff. Can we as Elevate tonight not get so religious and not get so closed-minded that we're not willing to take advice from somebody tonight? I want to challenge you with something. The enemy wants to destroy you and take you out, but you have a greater power inside of you that can overcome whatever the enemy does, but you have to be willing to admit it and be willing to walk in it. You know, one of the things I think as Christians, one of the things we got to do is we got to identify the strongholds. We got to identify what's like holding us back. We got to identify the thing. Sometimes it's not an easy or painless process, but we need the Lord's help in discovering where strongholds have been built in our life. We need the Lord's help in discovering what stronghold has a grip over our life. We can't live pretending that they don't exist anymore. We must call them for what they are. You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of people will be like, you go up to them, you know what I'm talking about. You go up to them and say, hey man, how you doing? And all hell is broken loose in their life. Like, man, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Put on that mask for just a second and be like, man, I'm just great. Man, I'm awesome. But on the inside, there's all kinds of issues. On the inside, they're hurting. You know, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you know that they've had over 40 deaths. 40 deaths since that speedway's been open. And you know, every time that when a car is going around the track and it wrecks and somebody dies, you know what they do? Immediately after the race, they send a maintenance crew out there to paint over and to repair the spot that was broken. to repair it, make it brand new, make it as good as new. You know what happens is in the museums or any memorial, there's nothing. You don't hear anything about the 40 drivers that lost their lives during a race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And I want to apply it to the Christian life just like this. There's a lot of times when we got issues, we got broken walls in our life, we got things that are gripping a hold of us, but you know what we do? We send something out there to try to paint it and just cover it up. And tonight, I want to challenge you, let's don't cover things up. Let's allow God to change us. The only way that you can be changed, the only way that you can truly be changed is being wide open before God and being truthful before God, saying, you know what? I got some issues, God, and I need some help. You got to first identify the stronghold. You got to identify the very thing that's holding you back. For some people in this room, some young adults in this room, it could be financial strongholds. Maybe you like to spend and just like get credit cards and do all that stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a road that can hold on to you and take you down further. And a lot of people are like, finances, Pastor Josh, what are you talking about? Finance? No, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. For some people in this room, it's physical strongholds. Maybe it's with, in relationships. Maybe you allow some relationships to come inside of your life or come into your life that you know you don't need. Maybe you allowed pornography or whatever it is to kind of grip a hold of you. Maybe as a girl, you look in the mirror and all you see is somebody that's overweight. All you see is somebody that's not pretty. All you see is somebody that's not beautiful. You know what that is? That's the enemy trying to stop you. Sometimes you gotta look in the mirror and you gotta say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Sometimes you gotta look in the mirror and say, I'm all that.